Reed from the Kingdom Warrior Academy of Martial Arts. Working here to demonstrate the slap set of one-on-ones. So one-on-ones are simple block and counter techniques that we teach here. When I'm teaching a one-on-one, my purpose, once again, as I've mentioned in other videos, is to give students an example of what they could do with movement. How to apply power in different kinds of movements to block different kinds of attacks. I don't expect students to verbatim reproduce exact one-on-ones in live sparring or fighting, but I do expect them to reproduce pieces of those one-on-one movements in effective techniques. I expect them to create their own techniques once they have a good understanding of them. And the purpose of the one-on-one sets is to give them examples so that they have a good understanding of the principles and practices of the movements. Okay, so the slap set of one-on-ones are called slap set because their first initiation for defense is just with a simple slap. Not a chop, not a cut, not a push, but a slap. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate each of the 5 slap set one-on-ones facing you, to the side, and then once with an opponent. Okay, so all these one-on-ones are done in Santee with your basic footwork pattern, which is half step back as the opponent attacks, and then half step forward as you attack. And how far you step depends upon how far your opponent comes in and fades out. So if they are standing right there and they don't step in at you and you're in striking distance, you may not step back at all. But then if they're really close and they step in really far, you may step back really far. If they fade back, you may have to follow them really far to get your attack in. So the first one's called the high butterfly because you're starting in a Santee. The punch attacks the face. So you're going to step back and slap, and you're going to come up and cover. And so as the hand comes up to cover, there's this moment where it looks like, like you're making a butterfly. And so the kids, when they learned it, they started calling it butterfly, and the name just stuck. So high butterfly, you're going to slap, cover, and then hit with a back fist to the face as this hand kind of pulls the hand back. Okay. So if you don't get the catch here, that's fine. It can just become a double slap, which is a common way that this technique is practiced. But I like to teach the option if you can trap that hand and pull them into the strike. Prevents them from getting away from you, keeps them close, and gives you that nice follow-up option. So at the going sideways, back slap, cover, and then hit. Okay? With partner. So she's going to punch me in the nose. Good. Good nose punch. Alright. Again. I'm going to slap, cover, and then hit. So for practice, you break it into 3 phases, then the 2 phases, and then the 1 phase. 3 phase is slap, cover, and then hit. 2 phases is slap, cover, and then hit. And then 1 phase is slap, cover, and hit. You just remove the pauses in between those phases. Next one is very similar. It's called low butterfly, named after high butterfly because the movements are the same, but it's for a low punch. So if somebody's coming in with a low punch, you're slapping it to the side, covering from in front, and then hitting. I like to hit with a backhand, but any of these can be done with just about any kind of hand striking method. Okay, so you're going to step back, slap, cover, forward, and hit. Down to the side. And with partner. Slap, cover, hit, okay? Or you could do it in 2 steps. Slap cover, and then hit, or in 1. Okay? So the third one's called Tiger's Fist. And so what you're going to do, starting in Santee, it's a low punch again. As the punch comes in, you're going to step back, slap it down, cover, and then come forward and hit with the back fist. So this one hits straight down, knocks it down, and then covers it. I like to do it so that as I'm coming down, my fingers crisscross the bone. So if the bone of their forearm is coming this way, my fingers will cross it at a slight angle, as opposed to trying to come down parallel with it. I feel like if I do this, then if I miss a little bit, I'm still at an angle to be able to block. Okay? And so my initial block comes in as I step back, and then my other hand comes down doing the same thing from the other direction here, crisscrossing. Clearing, covering, or just trapping it down. I like to think of it as a cover hand to prevent that hand to come back and do something. As my hand circles back, I hit with a back fist to the face. So from the side, partner, full punch, step in. That's 3 steps. 2 steps. And then 1 step. So, next technique is called washing the walk. This comes from an exercise bearing the same name. So washing the walk looks a little complicated, but if you imagine a big bowl and you're washing the inside of that bowl, this is what your hand's doing. And you want to get done in half the time, so you're going to use both hands. So as one hand's coming one way, the other hand's coming the other. Okay, this is the movement. You're going to take 1 rotation, 2 rotations, and then 3, and that's going to be the technique. So the punch is a low punch again. As the punch comes in, you're starting in Santee, you're going to step back, block the inside of the forearm, clear from the outside, hitting the elbow and knocking it slightly up as you knock it across, and then stepping in and hitting to the body with your open palm. So from the front, from the side, and then with the partner. And then 2 steps. And then 1 step. Okay? Trying to be gentle and still get the timing and the speed. Alright, the last one is called the Basu turn because it comes from a form that we have called Basu, and it's part of the motion that is involved in the turn. So this one's kind of different from everybody else. Instead of stepping back and stepping in, it has a different footwork pattern. It's going to do like a skipping step. Back foot's going to come up to where the front foot is, like that. As it does that, I'm going to lean backwards, and I don't normally teach people to lean. I teach them to maintain harmony, but in this particular case, it's the exception that proves the rule. As I skip forward, I'm going to lean back and then step down with my front foot as I right myself. Now the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm in Santee, somebody throws a punch to my head, I'm going to come up with this lead hand and slap that punch above my head. So their motion is continuing but above my head. Just as a precaution, I'm going to lean my head back out of the way so that I don't, if I'm late with my hands, my head is not in the way. And I'm going to skip towards them, so as it looks like I'm going backwards because I'm leaning away from them, I'm actually positioning my feet closer to them. Works really well for somebody who likes to maintain distance against you. So, I'm going to cover with this hand from the front, step down, circle back, and chop. So the whole thing, and then the chop should land with that front foot. From the side, punching me in the nose. Good punch. Again. I'm Santee. I'm going to come up, catch her elbow, lean back, skip step in, cover, and hit body. So that's 3 steps, 2, and then 3. Or that last one, all 3 steps at once. And that is the last of the 5 slap set one-on-ones. Just quick review: high butterfly, low butterfly, tiger fist, washing the walk, and the Basu turn. Thank you.